Hello and welcome. My name is Christina, and today I'm going to be working through a set of exercises targeting the IT band. So, as I've mentioned before, this series is influenced by the yoga asana practice, but it is not directly one. So, instead, this is merely serving as a guidebook or an instruction manual that's diving directly into the targeted area. So this will be anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes, and each week I will focus on a different area. So we're just going to jump right in. So the props that will be useful to work through are 2 blocks or maybe a stack of books and a blanket, especially one that's rolled and a little bit thicker. And as we work through these, I'm not going to hold this for any amount of time specifically. Like I said, it's a manual. So at any point, if you need to hold a shape for longer than I'm cueing, just go ahead and pause the recording. The first shape that I'm just going to demonstrate, like I'll demonstrate all of them, is a modified Sukhasana easy seat. So let's just start by coming into a cross-legged position. Note which shin is in front and which shin is behind. Flex both of your feet, and with the shin that's closest to you, parallel to the front edge of your space. Start to walk the shin that's in front to about a 45-degree angle. And you can see actually the bottom of my foot. That's how strongly I'm flexing that foot. Make sure that your sitting bones are distributed equally underneath you, and go ahead and slide your fingertips forward. And you should start to immediately feel some sensation going on. And again, as we move through all of these, go ahead and pause this recording at any time to give yourself an opportunity to stretch. I'm just going to go to the next exercise. The next one is Agni Stambhasana, or Fire Rocks pose. A couple of options here. You can take a block and place it in front of the kneecap, and then place your heel on the block. You can stack your shins, placing a prop in between, maybe a block or a folded blanket of some kind. Once you're situated, slide the fingertips forward once again. And then make sure that when you're here, you're tilting the pelvis forward. That's going to be key through all of these. When you're ready, you slide the fingertips back, and then I'll show you the next shape, which is Gomukhasana. So, 2 major options here. One is stacking the knees while you're sitting upright, the torso perpendicular to the ground, sliding the fingertips forward. The other option is, and I'll quickly just show this to you, is rolling onto your back. And then grabbing a hold of opposite ankles, and then bringing the heels close to your seat. So 2 options here for your Gomukhasana cow face shape. Once you're in whatever position you're going to sustain, squeeze your inner thighs in, and then maybe pull your kneecaps away from you slightly. Unwind your legs. You just give them a little bit of a shake. And you'll notice that I'm going through each of these on one side. And I like to kind of transition through a series and then go back and then repeat it on the other side. Okay? Extend your legs to about a 90-degree angle. So I call this 90-degree legs. I'm going to start by flexing my feet quite firmly. And then my heels are down. Just note this, because as we turn, you're going to start to notice the toes are going to turn. So you're going to turn your torso so that it faces away from your back leg. You notice that my toes are turning as I do this. I would find that it's probably physically impossible to keep the toes up while you turn. And so now you're facing directly away from the back leg. Keep straightening the legs and flexing the toes, even though your feet are on its side. Then walk yourself onto your forearms and maybe shift your weight forward slightly so that you're completely on the hip. The more that you flex the feet, the more you're going to feel this along the IT band. And then hold that for however long that you want. And then when you're ready, you're going to walk yourself up. And then the final shape that we're going to do while we're on the ground, like this, is pigeon. Okay? So pigeon is a shape that I know some of us may or may not like, depending on our bodies, but I do recommend if you're going to come into this, you have a padded blanket, like a rolled blanket behind you. And then you're going to come into tabletop, sort of straddling the blanket. So the blanket is parallel to the long edge of your mat. And you're going to extend the leg behind you. Doesn't matter which, just make sure that you're paying attention to which leg you're doing. The back leg, you're going to lower the knee onto the rolled blanket and untuck the toes, and then walk the other foot over. So it looks something like this. And so the reason we're on the blanket is so that it provides some height and a cushion for the back knee. So you'll experience a little bit less on the front kneecap and the hip. Okay? And of course, you can do this without the blanket, and then walk yourself forward and choose your depth. Then whenever you're ready, you come out of that shape. And so we've just moved through a number of different shapes. I'm counting 5. So go ahead and you can pause this recording here and then move through this on the other side, just noting which shin was in front of the other or which heel was in front. I'm going to transition into the next series, which is going to be to a wall. A wall is helpful here. And again, I'm just going to do this on one side, and then you'll just stop the recording and do it on the other. So we're going to move into a supine figure 4 that's against the wall. So I like to start with my legs in a tabletop position while I'm on my back. So plant your feet against the wall, and again, my knees are making about a 90-degree angle here. Doesn't matter which. Bring a knee in and then cross the ankle. And so here, press firmly into the foot that's against the wall, and then notice the foot that's lifted. The inner edge of the foot, pull away from you. So you're going to pronate the foot so it kind of sickles in and flex up that foot and pull your toes back. Simultaneously, press the kneecap away from you. So this active shape in a figure 4 that's against the wall, you're going to feel that all along this IT band and the outer hip. And then take an opportunity, again, you can move to that on the other side, just lowering that foot and then switching. Our last shape that we're going to do on our spine is a supine twist. So we're going to start with a supine twist, that's traditional, okay? Rolling onto our back, and then bringing one knee in and extending the other leg. Squeeze the knee in and then cross it over your belly over to the other side. And I'm not specifying a side because it kind of depends. You're going to switch on your own. Okay. So from here, just take a few moments to stay in the supine twist. Here's where the IT band comes into play. You can do this with either grabbing a hold of the foot or not. You're going to start to extend the top leg. Now, leg does not have to be 100% straight. The act of pushing the heel away will start to wake up the IT band. You're going to feel this pretty extremely all along the outside of the leg. Flex through all 5 toes. Make sure that you're breathing. If you would like, you can, if it's accessible, grab a hold of the outside of the foot and then use your hand to help guide the leg across. Not necessary, but it's an option. And again, just pause and breathe. Pause the recording here, take as long as you need, and work to that on the other side. The next set of exercises are going to be done essentially from a standing-ish position. And again, I'm just going to show you this on one side. So the blocks will be handy here if you have them, or your stack of books. And so this is going to be for the hands to support, and it's mostly to bring the ground a little bit closer to your hands. I'm not going to specify which side. Take one leg. I'm just going to remove the block so you can see my feet. Cross one foot behind the other. Keep your knees bent, and then press into your feet to shift your hips back. You're going to cross-legged forward fold. And then from here, keep your hands on your blocks, keep pressing your sitting bones away, and then whichever leg is on top, you're gonna walk your hands to that corner. So you notice that the blocks are really coming in handy here. Just pause and breathe. So you wanna emphasize, again, the pressing of your sitting bones back. That's the primary action. Walk your blocks towards you and then come up slightly, but keep your legs crossed. Whichever leg is in back, bend your knees, and then that leg is going to, again, I'll just move the block so you can see me, slide the back leg back. So I'm on the outer edge of the back foot, my front knee is bent, and it's also planted. You'll notice I kind of look like a speed skater, especially with the block tucked behind me. So both blocks will come in front of you, and then same thing, press into your hands and then shift your hips back. So the back leg is straight and the front knee is bent. You can stay here, maybe even walk your hands slightly, so it's coming towards the same side as the bent knee that you can choose. Here's an opportunity just to kind of play with almost like swaying your hips from side to side. And hold that for as long as you need. And then the next shape, same foot in front, and then the same foot behind is pyramid. So pyramid, I'm facing you. You notice that my legs are quite far apart in terms of the horizontal direction, less so front and back. So you want to make sure that your feet are basically, you could fit like a 2x4 in between. Blocks are going to come inside the front leg. And then I always like to pull my tailbone back and my heart forward to kind of neutralize the sacrum, and then bend your knees and fold forward. Here's one option. Another option is, if you're going to target the IT band, walking the torso so that it's directly in front of the straight leg. And then from here, bending your elbows and folding forward. So 2 options for pyramid. So from here, make your way into a low lunge position. Keep your blocks handy. So your front knee is bent and your back leg is straight. Like this. I'm just trying to face you because it'll be helpful because you're going to have to look at my front foot. Okay. So we're going to move into what I call turtle pigeon. Okay. It's kind of a made up shape. And so from here, back leg stays straight. You're going to roll onto the pinky side edge of the front foot while flexing the toes. So your toes are going to turn about 45 degrees. So you can just watch here. So it looks something like this. And this alone is going to really target the IT band, maybe more so than any other shape. Okay? So make sure that you're breathing and unclench your jaw. And then plant that foot. Walk the foot wide and then lower the back knee. And here's where some padding might come in handy for the back knee. So you're going to lower the back knee and untuck the back toes. So we're just in a runner's lunge, and you can also sink in if you want. And then from here, plant, I would say the opposite hand to whatever foot's in front. Palm towards your inner thigh, scoop your belly in, and then twist. So it's a runner's lunge twist. And then turn your torso down. And then you're just going to walk your blocks back, and I'll turn so that you can see me. Okay, so we were here, walk your blocks back, and then shift your hips back so that the hip is now on top of the back knee. Flex all 5 of your front toes. Okay. So now, because we're getting into the IT band, pull your hip back, and then look at your toes, and I want you to turn them about 45 degrees out. And it's not even necessary to fold forward. You're going to feel this right away. The idea of the toes turning, you can even play around with lifting the toes up and then turning them out. You should feel that pretty significantly. Scoop the knee in, shake out the hips. You go ahead and pause this recording and then do that sequence all on the other side. So there's a series of, I would say, 6 shapes that we just moved through in a standing variation. Very last shape is a down dog. So once you're in a downward facing dog, just a traditional one, to make sure you're pressing through all 4 corners of each hand, and your feet are about hips width distance apart. Bend your knees a little bit and lift your tailbone up. Now, from here, keep your left foot where it is, and you're going to turn your right heel down and then turn your toes down. So your right foot is planted. And then press down with your hands and lift your hips up. Lift up your heel and do that on the other side. Hold each side for however long that you want before lowering down. So thank you for tuning in, and then I will be back next week for a series of exercises targeting a different area of the body. Have a wonderful day.